Hey, hello again YouTube, and welcome to part 4 of my favorite albums of 2020. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into it and continue on here. Necrot with Mortal. This is a Tank Crimes Records release, once again, just like their previous full-length. This is their second full-length album. It was very cool to see the return of Necrot this year. This is a death metal album that a lot of people were anticipating, myself included. And it is just an excellent follow-up to Blood Offerings. Just more of that menacing punk attitude and energy-filled death metal that was on Blood Offerings. The riffs are absolutely killer. The playing from all the members is great. Luca's vocals just sound as pissed off and powerful as ever. Yeah, man, I love this album. And it doesn't sound that much like Blood Offerings either. The production is pretty different, so they definitely did not repeat themselves and do the same album over again. These guys are a great live band as well. If you've never gotten to see this band live, definitely go and do that whenever the fuck we get to do that again, right? But, yeah, I think my favorite track on here was probably Malevolent Intentions, but front to back, there is not a single dull moment to be found on this album. It is just crushing killer death metal from beginning to end. And I also really like the track Mortal, because that was probably one of the most different things this band has done. It was kind of more like a slower, I don't know. It's hard to describe like how different it is compared to everything, but it was a very different track for them. Unlike a lot of the other stuff they had done in the past. But yeah, Mortal, the last track on here, was definitely a standout. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about the new Necrot. You've already heard this from so many other people anyway. There's so many people are going to have this on their year-end list, not just me. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard quite a bit about it already. But Necrot, Mortal, yeah. Easily one of the best death metal albums this year. I don't think anybody would disagree with me on that. And next up, we are going to go to Atramentus with Stygian. This is a $20 spin release. This is their debut full length. This is a funeral doom / dark ambient project from Phil Togus or Phil Taugus. I don't remember, or I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly. But this guy is just a brilliant Canadian musician who's in tons of killer projects. To name a few, Funebrarum, Cosmic Atrophy, and Catalyst probably being the fan favorite, I feel like. And yeah, man, it just seems like every project that this guy attaches himself to is just fucking gold. And this is just excellent funeral doom. It's cold, it's dark, it's bleak, it's, yeah, just very, very dark music on here. Just sad, angry, and just as beautiful as it is, you know, dark and menacing. Yeah, I don't know, I don't have many ways to describe this album besides just, it's dark, very dark, doomy music. But yeah, it's very well played, it's very well arranged. It's got some black metal influences on the very last track. All the tracks on here, there's only a few, and they're all above like 10 minutes, the last track being like 20-something minutes. It's definitely a musical journey, and slow and plodding, but it still keeps you interested and engaged throughout the entire listen. And that in of itself for Doom is always commendable. You know, gotta admire that. But yeah, Atramentus, Stygian, definitely one of the standouts for Doom metal this year, without a doubt. And next up we go to Gorophilia with In the Eye of Nothing. Dark Descent release, this is their third full length. Following up an excellent album like Severed Monolith was no easy feat, but guess what? Gorephilia did it with In the Eye of Nothing. And I'm sure a lot of people were worried, myself included, that how this album was going to turn out after they tragically lost their singer who committed suicide like 1 or 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly what year that was, but yeah, I was very concerned about how this band was going to carry on without their singer, and to my surprise, I found out instead of adding a new member, the one of the guitarists actually took over on vocals, and he does a hell of a job, man. Like, his death metal vocals are just perfect for Gorophilia. Yeah, it's just excellent, high caliber, finished death metal. Still has a very, very strong Morbid Angel influence, as their albums always have. And just the riffs, man. Oh my god, the riffs. Just a huge variety of different riffs being played here, but they are all just absolutely killer, catchy, captivating, and fucking crushing, of course. This is just such an evil, dark, awesome death metal album. Yeah. It was definitely one of my most anticipated releases. When I first heard the single for this, I immediately hit the purchase button for the CD on their Bandcamp because I had a feeling it was going to be great. But yeah, Gorophilia, In the Eye of Nothing. Love this album. Next up, we go to Hellripper with The Affair of the Poisons. So, this is their second full length. They are now on Peaceville, so congratulations to James McBain, who is the mastermind behind this project. This is a project out of the UK, and it is just really fun, catchy, kick-ass black speed metal. Influences ranging from Venom to Bathory to Motorhead to Exciter to a lot of other like classic speed metal stuff. And just so many great riffs on here, fantastic guitar work, especially the solos. The solos on this are so damn catchy. The high screeching black metal vocals sound awesome as well. This is just a killer one-man project. And you know, there's a lot of bands doing the black speed thing nowadays. You got bands like Midnight, which this is very, very similar to. You got Bewitcher, you got Diabolic Night, Wraith. There's so many bands doing black speed right now, and they're all doing it very, very well. And Hellripper is definitely no exception. I absolutely love this album. It is just an absolute fucking blast to listen to. It is just total fun, you know, just super satanic, witchcraft, black magic themed fucking black speed metal, man. Just, I can't get enough of this. Yeah, Hellripper, The Affair of the Poisons. Killer. Let me get some water. Next up, we go to Them with Return to Hemmersmoor. This is their third full-length album. This is on Steamhammer. Them is a band I've absolutely loved ever since I first heard their debut, Sweet Hollow, back in 2016. And it just seems like every time these guys put out an album, they just seem to get better and better. Each release just seems to add a little bit more and a little bit more. And probably the most important thing, they sound more and more like themselves. And get further and further away from the King Diamond, Merciful Fate comparisons that they are still, even now, getting compared to. But I do have to admit, I was a little worried about how this album was going to go at first, because the first single they released, Free, off of this, I was not too crazy about it. I didn't find it too memorable of a song. It just seemed kind of bland, like it was missing a lot. And but I told myself, I was like, well, let's wait until the full album comes out, and because I bet it'll make more sense then, especially once I know the story and everything. This is a heavily concept-based band, and this album, Return to Hemmersmoor, is the final part of this 3-album trilogy of this story. And it's a great ending. It's a great conclusion to the whole thing. I've really enjoyed the story, and the character KK, that's the main character within the story. Just, it's all very well put together. The production's great. Insanely tight and well done musicianship. A bit of technical and progressive elements throughout. Some classic heavy metal, speed metal, quite a bit of thrash, and in particular, the track Battle Blood is extremely thrashy. Hellhounds, the Harbingers of Death, is probably the heaviest thing they have ever done. There's just some nasty, nasty, heavy riffs on that thing. Love that track. But yeah, man, this is a killer project. And the other thing I have to say is, I can definitely say that these guys definitely do not sound that much like King Diamond. They're very much their own entity. And I can definitely speak to that now because, a little side note here, I have been absolutely obsessing over King Diamond and Merciful Fate since back in October. Ever since I got to go see King Diamond live last year in November, that was my last concert, by the way, I wanted to dive into that discography. And I finally did in October, and I'm a huge fan now. And like I said, I've just been obsessing over King Diamond and Merciful Fate. I've heard every single album from both. And I just still, to right now, can't get enough of it. But yeah, them are very much their own thing. I understand the King Diamond comparison because you do still have some similar aspects of the songwriting and the arrangements, and of course Troy's vocals are very reminiscent of King Diamond, but even then he still does a lot of different things with his voice that is very different. So, but yeah, I think I'm done talking about this now. I don't see a lot of people talking about this band still, so give them a chance, man. It's just excellent, well put together, conceptual, horror-themed heavy metal. Love this stuff. And now that this story is over, I'm very interested and curious to see what they come up with now that this story is done. So, yeah, them. Return to Hemmersmoor. Next up, we go to Pallbearer with Forgotten Days. Absolutely love this band. This is released on Nuclear Blast. This is their first release on Nuclear Blast. They were on Profound Lore before this, but now they are on to bigger labels. So big congratulations to you guys for that. But yeah, every time Pallbearer puts out an album, man, I see these guys in the future just consistently making it on to my year-end list because they are unbelievably talented musicians, great songwriters, which always comes through within every album that they create. This album is a little different than the last two things they put out, Foundations of Burden and Heartless. Those albums were more on the cleaner side of things. This kind of goes back to the more raw, dirty approach of their first album, Sorrows and Extinction. So, and they do still have the progressive elements a little bit here and there, but I feel like they dropped a lot of that from the last two albums. But yeah, like I said, still excellent musicianship going on here. Fantastic songwriting. And I just love their crushing heaviness combined with the emotion and the melodies that they bring forth from their music. And this is just really, sad, depressing, dark stuff, perfect for doom metal. Nothing from Pallbearer has ever sounded happy, but on this album in particular, there's more so than usual. There's some really sad and heartbreaking sounding tracks on here, but from beginning to end, it is an absolute beautiful and excellent listen. Pallbearer could do no wrong at this point, as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely fucking love this band. I've seen them like 3 times. Yeah, Pallbearer, Forgotten Days. One of the best doom metal albums of this year, without a doubt. And next up, we go to Faceless Burial with Speciation. This is a Dark Descent release. This is their second full length. Never heard this band before, but I found them because I keep up with most of what Dark Descent does. And I saw there was a death metal album on Dark Descent, and that was enough reason for me to check it out. And I did, and I've been doing so much talking. But I checked it out, and it is just absolutely excellent, evil, dark death metal. There's a bit of some technicality to it, and there's a wide range of death metal influences throughout. But yeah, just killer riffs, great vocals, love the drums. There's a lot of variety and tempo changes throughout the album to keep it interesting and keep it, moving forward and keep a nice flow for the album. Yeah, excellent death metal from Faceless Burial. I will definitely keep an eye out for this band in the near future. So yeah, Faceless Burial with Speciation. And next up, we go to Proscription with Conduit. This is a Finnish death metal band, another Dark Descent release. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, this is excellent Finnish blackened death metal. Very, not overly dense, but still fairly dense, dark, dismal, pretty, you know, evil, dark sounding death metal, as a lot of Dark Descent death metal usually is. But excellent riffs on this. I really dig the production on here as well. It's not too raw, it's not too clean. It kind of sits somewhere in that perfect middle ground. Very good drum performance on this. Lots of blast beats. Just a lot of variety within the drums overall. Just beastly sounding vocals. I like the cover art quite a bit too, and kind of suggests that this could be like a Lovecraftian themed band. Although I haven't really read the lyrics, so I don't know if it's Lovecraft themed or not, but yeah, the artwork kind of looks like it. Other than that, don't know what else to say, but this is just another huge standout for death metal this year, and you're probably going to see this on a lot of year-end lists, because I've already seen it on plenty. Excellent album. Can't wait to see what this band does after this either. Very impressive considering this is their debut full length. So yeah, fucking killer, dark, blackened death metal from Proscription with Conduit. Next up, we go to Undeath with Lesions of a Different Kind. This is their debut full length. This is released on Prosthetic Records. Once again, we have just another ugly, barbaric, just sounding death metal band. There's influences of Cannibal Corpse, all kinds of old school death metal from Morbid Angel to, you know, just you name it. There's just a lot of different death metal influences on here. There's some kind of slammy kind of parts to it. It's extremely heavy, very bass heavy. There's just a sick, gnarly, nasty sounding bass tone on it that sounds really, really cool. It is a fairly raw sounding album, but it's not overly raw either. Not quite to the filth that, like, say, Undergang or some of these other filthy death metal bands, but still pretty damn nasty sounding stuff. But yeah, absolutely crushing from beginning to end. There's quite a bit of variety within, you know, tempo changes and stuff like that too, to keep it from getting boring. And it's only like 30-something minutes, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. But yeah, this is another death metal album that you're going to see on a lot of year-end lists. It's been hugely popular, and a lot of people were already hyping this before it came out. I was not familiar with Undeath, so once again, this was just kind of something I saw a lot of people talking about. I checked it out on Bandcamp. I was like, holy shit, yep, it's fucking awesome. So another death metal band that I will be looking out for in the near future and keeping up with. So yeah, Undeath, Lesions of a Different Kind. And the last thing we have to talk about here is Eternal Champion with Ravening Iron. This is another one that I really wish that I owned on CD, because I absolutely love this album. This is their second full length on No Remorse. Just absolutely amazing, epic, heavy metal. Some influences of Omen, Manila Road, Man of War, maybe even a bit of Sirathungal in there. Just covers a lot of ground as far as like epic heavy metal goes, and they just do it so well. They're from out of Texas, by the way. Their first album, The Armor of Ire, I know is already considered like a modern traditional heavy metal classic by many, but for whatever reason that album just never really clicked with me very much before. I'm not sure really what it was, but I just wasn't as crazy about that album as a lot of people were. I have given it another listen after I listened to this, and I do like it more. It's definitely grown on me, but I think Ravening Iron is way better than The Armor of Ire. It's heavier. I think the song's overall better. It just seems more memorable to me overall. I think the vocals also sound better. Not that the vocals were ever bad to begin with, but I don't know. They just sound better to me on Ravening Iron. And man, and just even for like traditional heavy metal or epic heavy metal standards, there are just some heavy, heavy, hard-hitting sounding riffs on this fucking thing. Like, what is it? Coward's Keep? That just has some really fucking doomy, crushing riffs going on. It's just, yeah, even for epic heavy metal, there's quite a bit of variety on here, which is really, really cool. Yeah, love this album. And this is, once again, another one you're going to see on a lot of year-end lists. A lot of people fucking love this one, and I'm in that crowd as well. It is one of my favorite metal albums this year as well. So, there you have it. Eternal Champion with Ravening Iron. Okay, and that's going to do it for part 4 of my favorite albums of 2020. I've got about 10 more albums to talk about, so I think I can fit this into one more part, and we will be done with this list. So, I will see you again very soon for part 5, the final part of this year-end list. Have a good one.